Hello, my name is Wayne Dornan, and I am a breast cancer survivor. Yes, men can get breast cancer too. What I would like to do today is to talk to you about an episode that aired last week on the Kardashians. The episode was about genetic testing for breast cancer, and although I think they had good intentions, because of all the misinformation that was in the episode, I think they did more harm than good. Before I talk specifically about the episode, let me just give you a little bit of general information about breast cancer. In the United States, breast cancer is the second leading cause of death in women after lung cancer. And last year, there were 240,000 cases of breast cancer diagnosed in women, with 40,000 deaths. In contrast to popular belief, the genetic component or the hereditary component of breast cancer is very small. It's about 10%. And what that means is that there are over 90% of the breast cancers that are diagnosed in women do not have a hereditary component at all. One of the most important things, or one of the most important discoveries that came out within the last decade is what is called the BRCA gene mutation. And what that is that all of us have the BRCA gene, but if we have the mutation, it could lead to a susceptibility for breast cancer later in life. Now, if we get back to the Kardashians episode, what was going on in that episode was that it was clear that the matriarch, Kris Kardashian, wanted all of her daughters to get tested for breast cancer because her mother had a diagnosis of breast cancer. And although I think that that was a great idea, it was very clear from the beginning that the sisters really didn't have any genetic counseling done before the test. In fact, they had their blood drawn at a photo shoot, and that I think was a little bit of a mistake. For example, Khloe, who was very reluctant at the beginning to have the test, you could tell that she had absolutely no knowledge of what the implications of a negative or a positive test would have. And in fact, when near the end of the episode, when Dr. Youssef, who, by the way, is a plastic surgeon, told them that they were negative for the BRCA1 and BRCA2 gene mutation, well, in fact, he didn't say mutation. He said that they didn't have the BRCA gene. Now that is completely wrong because we all have the BRCA gene. Whether it is mutated or not is the important component of risk in breast cancer. In fact, Khloe asked him after he had finished his inaccurate explanation of the test, said to him, quote unquote, "Dr. Youssef, will I ever get that gene later in life?" And he said, "No, you will never get that gene." So it was clear that he really didn't know much of what he was talking about. In fact, there are many agencies now that use genetic prognostication tests to determine whether someone should be eligible for genetic testing, and they use about a 10% cutoff rate. So if you do this very brief test online and it comes out that your risk for breast cancer is 10% or higher, then most of these agencies will recommend that you have a genetic test. I actually did the test using Khloe as an example, and her risk only came out to be 1.5%, nowhere near the 10% threshold that is recommended. So again, who recommended the test? Dr. Youssef. What is his specialization in oncology? Zero. He's a plastic surgeon, and he probably should stay doing that specialization. The bottom line is that I think they had good intentions, but you really cannot give this kind of misleading information because there were millions of people watching this episode last week, and when the test results became or were announced as being negative, they gave the impression that they were quote unquote out of the woods. Well, remember, only 10% of the cases of breast cancer are genetic. So their chances of getting breast cancer was not completely eliminated by having a negative test with this genetic test. And in fact, 90% of the breast cancers are not hereditary. So, unfortunately, they didn't do a very good job. If you'd like to hear a little bit more about this BRCA testing or about breast cancer in general, I have a book that is just been published on breast cancer, and you could get it at Amazon.com, and you could also visit my website at howisurvivebreastcancer.com, and it will give you a lot of information about breast cancer. Until next time, have a great day, and for all the breast cancer survivors out there, let's keep the fight going. Good night.